Wichita, Kansas, pros and cons, 5 of each. So here's a video I got for you. I'm from Wichita originally, West Wichita, born and raised. I live downtown now, but I get all over selling houses. And the thing I want to relay to you, whether you do or don't know Wichita that well, is 5 pros and 5 cons. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Before that, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, depending on what platform you're on all this, if you would, please, if you like this content. But let's go ahead and start. So the first one that I'd say is a pro of living in Wichita is actually right here in this background, is the sunsets and sunrises here are absolutely amazing. Because we don't have a lot of geographic terrain, we can get these long rolling skies with these amazing sunsets and sunrises. It is just, pictures don't even do it justice, to be honest with you. Like, that's a pretty sweet picture, but to be honest with you, like, you got to see it in person. But let me go ahead and show you some of these other sunsets and sunrises we have. So look at these things. Like, if you look at some of these sunsets, they're some of the most beautiful sunsets, displays of colors I think you can find anywhere in the country. Obviously I'm a little biased because I'm from here, but I wanted to show you these, give you an idea. Like, here's one at our Keep of the Plains. It's a very common place to go watch sunsets and sunrises. It's right along the river. You got a really cool walking bridge over there. And then at night, like, these little rocks in the river light up with fire around this Keeper of the Plains. So it's a really cool attraction. Here's another one in our Delano district, right around the roundabout, where you can see these long rolling skies with, purple and blues and oranges in there, where it's just like the sky is just on fire. Like, if you look at this, it is awesome. And again, these pictures don't truly do it justice. You got to see these, in person. But that is one awesome thing. Here's another cool one of the Keeper of the Plains, give you an idea from the walking bridge, just the amazing skylines we have here, the sunsets, sunrises, and that sort of thing. So that's one really good thing to look forward to in Wichita, is the sunsets and sunrises. The other thing that I would say is a really good thing about Wichita is your ability to get ahead financially. So that's number 2. Is our cost of living is super low. Our income, our jobs are really stable. We have a lot of good mid to high level range jobs available, where we help a lot of people relocate to the area, and they look at like what houses cost, what things cost around here, and it is significantly lower than what they can make income wise. And so it enables them to really get ahead financially, climb the financial ladder, climb the social status ladder, whatever it is that you're wanting to climb. It is much more attainable in Wichita than I've seen in many other parts of the country, especially right now with the rapid appreciation you see going on around the country. That's more important than ever, is to be able to get ahead financially. And with house prices increasing everywhere across the nation, that really makes a difference for us locally here, because like our average price point is $147,000. And your average like monthly payment around here is like $1,000 to $1,500. And really, if you do this right, you can keep that up like all the way throughout your entire home ownership situation, but still keep moving up and up and up into better and better houses. I encourage you to go look at the houses on our site and see like just how much house you get here. Number 3 kind of goes a little bit with that one financially, is that we're a very stable environment. We're a very stable culture. Wichita kind of has this attitude of like, we're about 5 years behind of every other trend or every other thing you see coming in the rest of the world. And so if you're more akin to some of like the traditional mindsets or cultures of things, traditional values, this is a place that really takes a little bit to adopt new things. And so if there's some old things that you like about the old ways, we typically are 5 years behind, and that can be a good thing, because we keep, what's important is important. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. We keep a lot of the wholesome Midwestern values really true to all of us, like family, like friendship, like trust, like honesty, like integrity. So a lot of really good values, and that leads us to be a very stable environment. We don't like to see a lot of shakeup, a lot of change, which going on in the world. There's a lot of craziness. And honestly, within Wichita, it's been fairly stable throughout everything, not just from a financial standpoint, but also just from a personal standpoint. People are very stable, pretty easy going, easy keel, easy pace lifestyle. So, which leads me kind of in number 4, which if you got a family, that is super important for you, is to have that stable environment to raise your kids in, really good neighborhoods, really good schools, really good, just wholesome people who look out for each other. That neighborly concept that seems to be going away more and more is that, people around here know each other, they care for each other. And I like to call it like a little big town, because it's got kind of that small town feel, but it's also big enough to where you get a lot of the bigger attractions that you're come to used to in bigger cities, on everything. So that's where it's really good for families. That would be number 4. It's very wholesome for families, raising a family, starting a family, getting ahead as a family, that sort of thing. Number 5, I would say, is our 5th pro is our ease of pace, meaning that like we have a pretty laid back, pretty chill attitude towards everything. And a lot of this has to do with how much time we have around here. Like our commute times, let me go ahead and show you on a map real quick. Our commute times to get anywhere, not even just for work, but anywhere, are pretty low. So like literally you can get to anywhere in Wichita 15 to 20 minutes. So if you look at this map, like here's the center of Wichita, this gives you an idea. When I say Wichita, like this is the greater Wichita area of it all. We're about 500,000 population size of the greater metropolitan Wichita area. But there's a lot of outskirt towns like Bel Air, Park City, Valley Center, Maize, Goddard, Hayesville, Derby, Andover, but we all just say Wichita because you may or may not even know where Wichita is at. But Wichita, if you look at it, literally you can get anywhere within like 15 to 20 minutes. So as I move like this cursor around, you can see like everywhere is 15 to 20 minutes, like no matter where you want to get to. I know several people have helped relocate here, and they tell me like, well, I want to live within like 30 minutes of work. I was like, well, that's literally all of Wichita. So it doesn't matter where you live. You can live anywhere. Doesn't matter on everything. And so not only is that good for work, but it's also good for anything fun you want to do, any trip, anything you want to travel for. You're going to get a lot of your time back. Is one of the big benefits of living in Wichita is you're going to have so much more time to do the things you want to do. So not only can you get ahead financially more, you're going to have way more time in order to, do the things you want to do, enjoy more of your life, focus on the important things, not be so busy rushing around everywhere from thing to thing to thing, and not be so stressed because you got so many things to do, because things take less time here with everything, just because of our pace of lifestyle, just kind of that chill attitude we have here, and just kind of easy going, easy living. Great place to raise a family in, great place to retire in, a great place to grow up in, because I did here. So really it's just good quality city with Midwestern values, with prices that aren't ridiculously through the roof. Now, that's all the good stuff. Let's be truly objective and actually look at 5 cons of this city. Because, I'm from here originally, and I know there's things about it that I don't personally like, but I still live here because I call it my hometown. But number 1, I'd say, is also what I just ended with, is that slow lifestyle. So one bad thing about that slow lifestyle is that if you want to get anything done in this city, nobody's in a hurry to get it done. So if you need something done fast, this is not the city for you. Like I'm a pretty fast-paced person. I like to get stuff done. And that's one thing that I've had to really work on around here, is being more patient with people, just because our culture is a slow lifestyle. And so when it comes to getting things done, that doesn't really turn out that well. When it comes to business, when it comes to honestly anything, we don't move fast. So that's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing, depending on the environment you're in, with all that. And one thing I'd say too is, although we have 15 to 20 minute drive times anywhere, I think we got the slowest drivers in the nation, to be honest with you. There are so many people who drive so slow. And honestly, it's kind of an obstruction. It's not even that safe of a thing. It's just like they would rather slam on their brakes on Kellogg than they would to actually just drive appropriately and safely and cooperate with everyone. Their first reaction is, brake. And it's just like, oh my gosh, come on, people, move. Let's go. So that's one thing that I got as a con, is our slow pace lifestyle, especially drivers, that goes with it all. Number two, I can tell you the dating sucks here. So if you're a single person, this city is kind of slim pickings when it comes to single people, young people, that kind of thing. We have what's called a talent gap and a brain drain a little bit, to where our younger generation who grows up here usually leaves, goes live somewhere else, gets married, has someone to marry, and then they move back because they want to start a family, and they are in that more mature range. So once they start getting to be like 35, 40, 45, they come back. But as far as dating goes, it kind of sucks. I think we actually have been ranked on like one of the worst cities to date in, even though we're a bigger town, bigger city. Our dating sucks. So if you're moving to Wichita to date, I don't have a lot of optimistic things there for you, but I'd rather tell you the truth and tell you how it really is than try to BS you or just be like, oh, everything's great, blah, blah, blah. BS. Number three kind of goes right along with that one. We're not the greatest for young people. We're working to cater towards that, but right now, the way it is currently, there's not a lot of things that cater to the younger generations around here. It's a lot of families. It's a lot of older generation. It's a lot of super young kids, like middle school, high school. But right when you get to like that college age is right when people start moving away and getting a taste of what it's like outside of Wichita. And then they end up moving to like Kansas City, Oklahoma, Austin, Dallas, Colorado, somewhere else that's got more of those cool things for young people. And that's what we're seeing is in Wichita, a outsurge of people moving out because they're younger and this city doesn't cater to them as well. I personally am 32. I'd like to see that change. I know there's been a lot of recent push for that to change, but then obviously COVID happened, having a lot more like outdoor concerts, festivals, doing like biking down the streets on Douglas for open streets, a lot of civic pride opportunities, really starting to not just cater to the city of Wichita, but also just to younger people in general, to have more of those cool events, to be a cool, vibrant city that a younger person who's very talented, very smart would want to come live in. But right now, currently, it kind of sucks for young people, to be honest with you. So you might like that, though. Number four, I would say, is a con of Wichita, is our severe weather changes. So not only are we geographically limited, meaning, as you can see from this map, there aren't a whole lot of geographic destinations here to go to from like lakes, mountains, hills, that kind of thing. It's all pretty flat. With that, also, we have pretty severe weather changes, meaning like we get anywhere from -10 in the winter to 110 in the summer. So you're going to experience literally every single season there is between summer, winter, spring, fall. Sorry, trying to get the four fingers. There we go. So you're going to experience every single season. That may or may not be a good thing to you, but to me, like, that gets kind of rough in the winter months. I'd work with seasonal affective disorder and have a little bit of seasonal depression in the winter. I usually got to get out of here because it's so cold and, dark and dreary and miserable. Those kind of months are kind of tough. But with all that, we get the awesome sunsets and sunrises in spring. Summers do get pretty hot with everything. So we do have a lot of severe weather changes. With that comes tornadoes. Like, of course, everybody's going to ask about tornadoes. Like, oh, Wichita, I heard you had tornadoes. You're in Tornado Alley. The truth is, though, Wichita, I can't remember the last time a tornado has actually, like, gone through the middle of Wichita. So as much as some people might think that's a big concern, it's not as big of a concern as you might think it is. Kind of like people in Florida who have hurricanes, but they still go live down there. Wichita, tornadoes do exist, but very rarely do they actually like come through and wreck your house. And actually, Wichita's got a little heat bubble. So what you'll see is a lot of storms that come in from the west, and they're coming right for Wichita, and then they either go just north of it or just south of it, because Wichita's got a heat bubble that protects it, that pushes those storms up and down around us. So that's number 4, is our severe weather change. And number 5, to round it out, I kind of already hit on, we don't really have any major attractions around here. We don't really have like a national football team. We got the Kansas City Chiefs, which is 3 hours away, which is our closest professional football team. We don't have a professional basketball team. As far as like on a national league, I think the closest one would be like Oklahoma City Thunder. would be our closest like event for that. We do have a large arena, Interest Bank Arena, and we hosted March Madness here a while back, and that was awesome. Let me tell you what, like that thing was freaking cool to have everybody come to our city. They had open streets, open vendors, open bars, and it was a really cool environment, really good time for this town, really helped showcase what it was like here. But the thing, and we have WSU men's basketball, who's really good. Like if you haven't been following them, I'd encourage you to go check them out. And we have like K-State basketball and football, but that's up in Manhattan, like 2 hours away. We have KU football and basketball, kind of have football. Sorry, KU. But they have a really great basketball program. So but as far as that, like we don't really have any other major attractions here. We just got a new baseball stadium, so that should really help. We got Interest Bank Arena, which is a major attraction. So we have kind of some local regional attractions, but nothing like major on a national giant scale. And so we end up watching a lot of sports or going to a lot of bars or going to a lot of houses to watch sports or major attractions. We have Century 2, Exploration Place, Botanica and Art Museum, some of those things, but nothing really like major when it comes to drawing people to the city or things to do. There are a lot of things to do, but it's more of like local, off the beaten path, vintage, traditional, or non-traditional, sorry, what am I trying to say? Kind of vintage, rustic, like restored type of things that aren't so well known on anything. And that's kind of Wichita's vibe and culture, is that we're not super well known, but there are a lot of really cool things. And like once you get here to experience it, you're like, man, this city's awesome. I love it. But not a lot of people know about it. It's kind of a hidden secret. And that's what keeps our prices so low, and why people end up sticking and staying here when they do get here, because they're like, you know what, this is a pretty dang good lifestyle that I got here. But there's no major attractions when it comes to doing all those things. We're starting to get a few more of those things kind of here and there, but nothing that's like a large major, like that's what that city's known for type of thing. So that's my 5 pros, 5 cons for today. Hopefully that helped you learn a little bit more about Wichita truly objectively. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you like this content, please like it, please comment, please subscribe so you can see more awesome Wichita stuff. And hopefully you got to know Wichita. I appreciate you watching. See you guys later.